Welcome to Shaking Up the Weeds with Upwise Capital. We're high from New York, a Ganjapreneur podcast.
Welcome, our first guest, Scott Jordan, the marijuana money man.
Woohoo, Scotty!
How you doing, Scott?
How are you guys?
What's going on?
Not much, baby. Just here. It's 4:20, just about here in Denver. So
There
glad
you go.
to be with you guys in New York.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'm sure
We're very proud to have you on our first episode. You know, we have over here at Upwise, we have much love for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I have much love in return. It's great to be in a relationship with you guys. And I remember when Joe came to see me speak back in 2015,
Wow.
ages ago at Javits. That was
Yeah.
actually one of the highlights of my career. I've always wanted to speak at Javits, being an ex-New Yorker and now living in Denver. It's a thrill to speak at the Javits Center.
I remember that event. That was a good event.
It was a very good event, very early on in your career.
Yeah, very early on.
Yes, you've made a lot of progress.
Love it. We've learned a lot from you since then, Scotty.
Hey, that's what the old does. The old helps the young.
That's
You
it,
know,
baby. That's what it's about.
Inherit the position, and we're excited. Working with you and being on the podcast.
Absolutely. And I want you to tell us your story.
Sure.
How did you get into the whole cannabis industry? Give us something.
Sure. So I live in Denver, and in 2009, the dispensary I was a patient at was complaining that they couldn't borrow any money. And I was a loan broker then. I had a business, and I said, let me see what I can do to help you. And it was very difficult because the banking was really whack-a-mole banking. It would pop up for a day, and then it would be there for a week, and then they'd have to change banks, and it was awful. But I managed to get them a short-term, high-interest rate loan, and I thought, hey, this is kind of interesting. I'm always a guy up for a challenge, and so I did a few more loans, but it was very difficult and small amounts. There was hardly any lenders in back then. And 2013, I went to work for a leasing company that leased business equipment, and my phone started ringing off the hook because in Colorado we went legal in 2014, and there was no institutional capital available. I mean, today it's like a dream. You've got guys you can Google, guys you can find, guys showing up at shows, banks. And so I went into my bosses and I said, hey, I think we ought to get into this, and they laughed me out of the room.
Wow.
They said, you're crazy. This is a fad. It's not going to happen. And besides, you don't look good in orange nor in stripes. So I took it on as a challenge. Being I grew up in Long Island, I said, you know what? I'm going to prove these guys wrong. And I went ahead and I reached out to a lender that did alternative assets, strip clubs, laundromats, things like that. And I proposed to him that we start to look at the cannabis industry. And he agreed. He said, after doing some research, hey, let's take a look at it. And that kind of started me off. That's kind of the short version of the long story here.
Yeah.
Nice.
And how did you become the marijuana money man?
So
Where did
I
that
used to
nickname
go to all of the town hall events. Back then it was really big to try to we had to get all of the city councils to approve having a dispensary, having a grow in their neighborhood. And so a guy that didn't know my name once called and said, hey, money man. And then someone said, oh, is that the marijuana money man? And they said yes, and it stuck. And then the Denver Post called me that in an interview I did with them in 2016. And then Fox, I was in an interview with them in 2017 in Oakland, called me the marijuana money man. And I kind of liked it. It kind of has a nice rhyme.
Great ring to
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
love it.
Yeah, people remember that rather than Scott Jordan. I mean, they remember Michael Jordan, but not Scott Jordan. I just have to tell them, look, more hair, a whole lot less money.
Nice.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell us about your business today, and how you guys have kind of helped shape the cannabis industry. You guys have been around for a while. You guys are OGs in the industry, around since 2014. How's business today for you, and how have you guys helped shape the industry?
So what we've done is we've put together a network of lenders, starting out with leasing companies, hard money lenders, soft money lenders for real estate. Banks and credit unions are now coming on board that want to lend into the industry, which is very exciting. Our mission and our goal has been to level up the playing field for cannabis businesses that have been treated traditionally unfairly and pay higher rates because of the perceived risk in the industry, and then also don't get the tax deductions because of this IRS regulation called 280E that don't allow them to deduct anything other than cost of goods sold. And so our mission was to try to help level up the playing field. I connected up with Sunday Seafried over at Partners Credit Union, now Safe Harbor. They are now a public company as of Monday. And Sunday was the first person that had, a credit union that wanted to come above board and actually talk about the industry and bank the industry. And, we worked a lot together with borrowers that, needed capital in order to grow, and she would bank them and I would go ahead and, get them funded. And so now we've got over 112 different lending sources on our platform, ranging from credit unions, banks, life insurance companies, to cash advance companies, to equipment lenders. And we continue to help drive the cost of capital down and make things more flexible. And we're very happy to tell people also about our relationship with you guys.
Love that.
It reminds me of the old days of. So I was in the telecom industry back in the 80s and
Right.
90s. And
Tell us about that. That must have been crazy.
Oh, it was crazy back then. So I was with MCI, and I was a wholesale, account manager with MCI, selling to the other carriers. And as a result, we would sometimes compete against Sprint, or we would cooperate with Sprint if we had a route. We were selling to Bahrain, and they didn't have a connection to Bahrain, but they had a good connection to Istanbul. We would trade. And so we kind of coined the term co-opetition, where we would cooperate and we would compete depending on the day and the client and the other thing. And so I think that's the beautiful part about our relationship, in that we came to you with this deal in Vegas that we didn't have a solution for, and you guys came up with a solution, which I think helps more borrowers achieve their goals. Because
Definitely.
there's competition in the business. When people say, "Oh, there's not enough capital," I think that that's not correct. I think there's a lot of capital, because every deal that we're in on, we're competing with anywhere from 12 to as many as 240. I got a list of 240 lenders and funding sources to exclude. And you can Google, cannabis lending, cannabis equipment lending, equipment financing cannabis, and you'll come up with a lot of different choices of capital. So I think there is capital out there. It's a matter of the cost of capital, the person you're going to be dealing with, how easy they are to work with, how professional they are, and what they're going to deliver in terms of an overall cost, and what the relationship is going to look like after the fact. So to serve the industry, one of the things that we do is, in addition to traditional debt capital, we also take a look from the perspective of other ways to get the capital that person needs for their business. And that could include rebates from the utility company, from overcharges. It could be this PACE assessment program, which is a terrific new program for people that are putting in clean energy into their cultivation mostly, but also the manufacturing, where they get long-term, low-rate, fixed-rate financing that's not generally available for putting in energy-saving equipment like LED lights, light controllers, and other things that save energy. We're really excited to be working, with you guys on that, area, because you've been a leader there, and we appreciate and recognize that. Also, because I've got a 40-year CFO veteran on my staff.
John is your golden goose, right? He can read
John
the
looks
balance sheet better than most.
Yeah, John looks at things from a holistic perspective to see, is there R&D credits available? Is there cost segregation available? How many other people can we get to contribute to this capital that is needed? One source is loans, but there are also other sources as well. And we actually discovered a new one at the CannaCon show that I was at that we're exploring now, to be able to bring more hands into the pie, to be able to deliver more dollars to that particular customer. And that's our goal, is to help minimize the cost of putting in the equipment, the cultivation, building out things that they need in order to get their business going and growing.
Yeah, I love that. And
And
we always say we bring value, right, in a different way. And somebody like you who's been in the industry forever, really understands how to bring value to operators, a much different perspective than most brokers or lending companies out there. What do you say borrowers should kind of avoid, as far as the do's and don'ts of raising debt capital?
Avoid this new loan program that's going around that has you contribute 20% into an ICA account, wait 90 days in order to then get your capital. It's a scam. And when they're promising you 5% money, not even the bank is going to go that low with grade A real estate. They're not going to give it to a startup, as I've seen now recently. Two different companies have come to me saying, "Oh, we need a bridge loan for the 20% that we need to put into this ICA account." Can guarantee you, it's not going to be a happy ending for you. It'll be a happy ending for them. But we had a guy going around saying the same thing. I don't know if you remember from a company called Uwana. A while
Never heard of them.
a while ago, that was doing almost the same thing. Put up money, wait 90 days. We're going to put it into this trading account, and there's a lawsuit, out there right now where they were getting sued because they didn't deliver. They delivered a bunch of excuses, but no cash, and that's what's going to happen. So anytime there's a large upfront fee, it's going to be a scam. Minimal upfront fee to cover costs and to see if someone's serious versus if someone is just curious or just collecting term sheets, I think is reasonable, because everyone has to put time and energy into doing that. But I think also someone, quoting you absurdly low rates, or telling you that their capital comes from offshore or overseas.
Yeah, that's always a scam.
Right.
Always
That's a red flag right there.
Red flag, and you shouldn't look at proceeding. You should also be able to see a website. Hopefully, they have testimonials and/or they've been in the media, and that there's someone that you feel comfortable with. If your gut tells you no, don't go forward. There's plenty of capital out there. You can reach out to myself at alternativefinancenetwork.com or Upwise as well. But don't get scammed.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. A lot of these companies don't even have reviews. They don't have, reviews from cannabis companies. They don't have, articles or, Scotty Jordan's been out there forever, right? Been on Fox, been on some of the biggest news networks in the world, right? So definitely make sure you do your due diligence when looking for a capital provider as well.
Can we circle back to the PACE loan? Joe, I wanted you to speak about that for our viewers, because I don't think a lot of people know about this yet.
Yeah, so PACE is a special purpose asset lien on the real estate tax assessment of a property. Typically, they'll lend about 20 to 30% loan to value based on the as completed cannabis value of a facility. It's a lien again on that asset the tax assessment and the energy audit. So it's based on, like Scotty said earlier, the energy efficiency upgrades that are done to the facility, typically HVAC, walls, foundation, any solar, any MEP, any electrical, any affixed assets to the building, qualify under the PACE program. And it comes in over a 20-year, 25-year, 30-year amortization, typically at 7 to 9% for cannabis companies, which is an extremely low cost of capital, or some of the cheapest cost of capital we've been able to find in the cannabis space. We a lot of times use that with a mortgage and blend that together with a mortgage to get a blended cost of capital and bring the cost of capital down for borrowers. Like Scott said earlier, our goal as the broker or as the consultant is to really get our borrowers into the best cost possible. And PACE is an amazing vehicle that a lot of people aren't aware of. It's backed by the Department of Energy. It's done on a state-by-state level. So it's really a great program to take advantage of if you're building out or have an existing facility that has energy efficiency upgrades already done to it.
Awesome. And we heard the news today as we taped this when President Biden, I don't know if you heard this, Scott, is yeah. So
It's
taking
exciting.
into account, where do you see the cannabis industry going in the next 5 years? I mean, this is
I think it's going to become more and more mainstream. I think it's going to be similar to the shift that we saw from the West Coast to the East Coast over the last few years. It was verboten. It was, oh no, it's illegal. It's going to screw everything up. And now I think it's become a recognized, invaluable industry. It creates good, high-paying jobs. It creates a lot of tax revenue for the states and the cities. And I think those are both things that are going to be very valuable as we go into this, recession that I see upcoming for us. And I think that we'll continue to see innovative products being, released. I mean, I remember when you walked into back in 2009, there was hash and there was flour, and then a few edibles, but wrapped up like candy in on Halloween. It was all self-made packaging and none of the stuff that is
not like today.
There was no extraction. There was none of that stuff. So that's what I see kind of coming up. More and more acceptance, and more and more mainstream. It'll be mainstream here.
Yeah, here in New York, we look at it as not only a big tourist thing, big revenue booster for tourism, but also social consumption could be huge here in New York with all the restaurants, right? Where you can go to a restaurant and get a cannabis infused dinner. We see people like Pizza Pusher and all these guys popping up doing these cannabis infused dinners. Next time you're here, Scott, we'll take you out to one of them. They're great. Yeah. So, Scotty, quick question. What would you say the craziest story happened to you in cannabis? The craziest thing?
Oh boy. So one of the first deals that I did was with a large company out in Southern California that I'll remain nameless, but they're one of the leading marketing companies out there. I was going out there to talk to them about an additional loan, additional funding, after we had gotten them $2 million. And they're in this beautiful office park in Irvine. I'm dressed, business casual, sport coat, slacks. The receptionist that greets me at the door, says, they're busy right now, but wait. I wait in the lobby. They come out in gym shorts, wife beater shirt, and flip-flops. And I'm like, oh boy, okay. I'm a little overdressed here, but all right. I'd rather be overdressed than underdressed. And so we walked back to their office, and I thought I was in a college dorm room. It was a coffee table with bongs and dab equipment and flour and everything else laid out there. We sit down. They immediately light up for 2 dabs. And before we even started, it didn't look like it was the first ones that they had consumed,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Real professionals.
Yes. And I'm thinking, oh boy, thank God my boss didn't come out with me, because he doesn't even use the product at all. He would have been like, what the hell am I walking into here? It's like something out of a zombie movie. We sit down. Thank goodness they didn't offer anything to me, because I would have been like, oh my God, I don't want
They
it.
didn't offer?
They didn't offer. I was glad that they were,
Yeah.
Glad they didn't.
Yes. It was like one of the few times that I was glad that someone didn't offer me, to get high with them. And so we sit down, and there are obviously 3 sheets to the wind, maybe 4 sheets to the wind. And we had some discombobulated conversation. We never ended up getting to the business. We just ended up talking about, life and personal stuff. And then they had to go to another meeting. And I was like, wow, this is really strange. I flew out just for this. And, we never really got to the business. They ended up, ordering up, another couple $1 million a few weeks later. But it was one of the weirdest calls I've ever made in my career. And I've been, have a career since the 80s.
Are they still around? Are they still?
They're still around. They're thriving. They're doing well. But it was definitely,
Amazing.
one of those meetings that you never forget. And you're glad your boss wasn't with you there.
Yeah.
He would have freaked out. Okay.
Not if I'm your boss.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. You meet everybody in this industry. It's
a wild industry. I mean, it's become much more, buttoned down and much more, Wall Street guys, because there's big money in it now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, it was wild and wacky and woolly. That's for sure.
Yeah, what do you think about that? That most of the capital guys in our space are suited up. We go to these events, both me and you put on the jacket, right? You put on the full suit. I just put on the jeans, but what do you think about, the suit type lenders versus the, the cool non-suits, like I look at us almost as like the company that understands weed, the company that understands genetics, right? The company that gets on the plane and tours the facility and talks about the years and years of history in the weed that they've put into their, facility, right? And understands the HVAC system and the lights and everything, right? So because we're users of the product and because we're, so entrenched in the industry for so long, I feel like we're not suits, and I don't want to ever be looked at kind of as that suit capital guy, right? I want to be looked at as that guy that, understands the plant and you could smoke a joint with, but also could raise me $20 million.
Yeah.
What do you think about the difference, Scott? What would you consider yourself?
I'm more of a suit guy. I mean, I'm old school. My dad taught me, be the best dressed guy in the room, and you'll always be welcome. And and besides, I'm quite a bit larger than you. So he also said fat guys need to wear suit jackets. Okay?
Good advice from Papa.
Yeah. You don't have to agree with him that quickly. Okay. I am losing weight.
No, you look great. You look
great, Scott.
At MJ Biz.
That's it, man.
But wearing a jacket also, you need a pocket for cards, a pocket for your phone.
That's the key at the shows. The jacket has the little pocket for your business cards.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps. And I think it's easier to be a suit that knows marijuana or uses the product than to be a marijuana user that then is transforming to a lender. So but I'm older than you are, and that's part of it.
It's funny because we did the CWCB Expo in New York, and we had one of the guys from Clark Hill comes up to our booth fully suited out, and he said to me, he's like, "Oh, I'm overdressed," and I'm like, "We're wearing polos, and I'm like, it's cannabis. A lot of people don't dress up too nice, I'm like, it's okay, you're good." And then Mayor Adams was speaking the next day. And me and James sat next to him, and he was sitting there in jeans and a t-shirt, jeans and like a button down, much more underdressed the day 2 of the expo.
Sure.
So he realized real quickly that some shows, you dress up for, some shows, you don't really need to, no need to put on the dog and pony show. Right. But what shows you got going on, Scotty? I know you're going to everything. What do you got coming up?
I was just at CannaCon, which was good. Benzinga, of course, is always on the agenda there. MJ,
we had a great Benzinga show together, actually. Yeah, great.
Show. No, it was a very good show, and we're cultivating leads from there right now, and of course MJ Biz. I was there at the very first one back in 2012. So you want to hear a funny story? I mean, this is like an OG story. Before the show started, there was only 250 people that went there. It was in this old building called the El Jabel Center in Denver. Is five-story walk up. They were the only people that would host, Cassandra and crew there. 7 booths.
5-story walk up with people smoking and walking up.
So to tell you the story, so it was the second day of the show was when they announced that it was 2012 that voters had voted for legalization, and everybody was jubilant. But what they told us was we thought that we were going to be a target for the police to come in, raid the show, and arrest everybody. So they said, memorize your wife or someone's number that can bail you out of jail, or here's 3 bail bondsmen that have easy phone numbers to remember. Memorize one of them so you don't have to spend the night in jail, because it won't be a pleasant experience. And
that came with your MJ BizCon ticket.
That came with the MJ BizCon ticket.
Oh my God!
That you have that memorized, and I'll never forget it, because everybody's in your cell. You just click on their number, but you're not going to have your cell.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go to what looked like an old payphone and dial someone up, collect, tell them, make sure when you now have a call from the Denver County Jail. Will you accept the charges? They're going to be really expensive. You told someone to do that and have $250 in cash so that you could get bailed out. I'll never forget that.
That's
in the early days.
I'll look at that show. Crazy.
Yeah, we were convinced that we were going to go ahead and get arrested, because usually a movement like that, the police like to squash it, but thank goodness they didn't. And look at where we are today. 1,400 booths, I think. 100,000 square feet. You got 3 different shows going on at MJ Biz.
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah,
crazy, monster big.
Yeah, we're doing a booth this year at Cannavests, and I'm also speaking on day 2 at 8:30 on the rise of debt capital and in the cannabis industry. So definitely come by, Scotty, and
I plan on it. Thanks very much for giving me a ticket to that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
We do a lot of business together, so we definitely appreciate all the business. We're starting to get going, and like you said, cooperation is really the best motto, right? If you could work together and have my brain and Scott Jordan's brain on the same deal,
man,
you got
that's 100 years of experience plus.
80 on your side, 20 on mine. No, I'm kidding.
Plus, we add in Craig and James.
Yeah, you got
behind the scenes.
John, that's
Jen.
That's hundreds of years.
Yeah, now we're hitting a millennium. Yeah.
So, Scotty, you're a user of cannabis, right?
I'm taking a vacation right now, but I have used in the past and have enjoyed the medical benefits of sleep, using it for sleep.
Yeah,
correct.
Myself as well. I'm a cannabis patient here in New York for the past 3 years. I've medically used cannabis for a while. So, James, we have one question that James wants to ask you at the end of the show that we ask everybody.
Yeah, this is our big question.
Okay.
And if you had a strain of weed, what would you name it?
Oh, what would I name it? How about, I'd love to have a strain named after me. Maybe we can do that when we're in Vegas and we close that deal that we've got going on.
The
You know,
Scotty
the-
J's.
There- there-
Scotty
Spoken to
J's.
Scotty J's.
Scotty J's. I like that. Scotty J. Here's a J with Scotty J.
Yeah.
It goes perfectly.
I like it. It does. It does. It sounds robust. You know, Scotty J's, not Michael J's.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. There's a lot of licensing deals. One of these MSOs, give Scotty J a licensing deal.
That's
Put
what
his-
we need to do,
Put
baby.
his face on a bunch of joints. You know, call them the Scotty J's. There you go.
Cash comes with it, baby. More
Okay.
cash will come into your account when you spoke to Scotty JJ.
That's
I
right.
love that. I love that.
Well, we
That's
really
great.
want to thank you for being on the show. Will you come back? Will you come
Thank
back?
you.
on
Of
the show?
course, man. I really like you guys, and now that we're starting to close some business, we can celebrate our success together and do it in Vegas with a couple of borrowers. That's what I'm really looking forward
Yeah,
to.
there you
Yeah,
go.
man.
You know?
Hopefully, we can party together in
Yes.
Vegas and enjoy all the success. And we'll definitely get dinner and see you there either way.
Absolutely.
We got a lot coming up in the next few months to close out this year. I'm sure you do as well. So we should definitely.
Fingers crossed, double crossed.
That's it.
Yeah, double cross.
Yeah.
Cross the fingers. Success for everybody.
Is
Yes.
it December? It's going to
We
be
def-
December to remember.
Yes.
That's right.
And then we will see you in November on the 15th to
15th.
the 18th.
Yeah.
When is it? The 15th to the 18th, right? Oh,
Yep,
it's
it's
Game of
right
Thrones.
below us.
Yeah,
Actually,
16,
Let's go.
17, and 18 at the show, and then the pre-show on the 15th, and then the post-show on the 18th.
Yeah, so we'll be there from the 15th till the 18th or 19th. After the show, we'll take the team out to a nice little celebration. Let James and everybody get a nice little pre-celebration, and we'll definitely excited to see you guys, and definitely excited to see all our borrowers and referral partners.
Yeah, it's great. It'll be a great time. Thanks very much for having me on, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks,
Thank
Scotty.
you, everybody out there. We'll see you
Take
soon.
care, Scotty. We'll speak soon.
All right.